it's Kenzy Knoxx and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be painting How to Paint a Lighthouse by Joni Young Art, and you can find her on YouTube. Okay, so let's get started. So the colors you'll need today are going to be titanium white, and then cobalt hue mixed with some white, which will give you a nice light blue violet color. You'll also need some yellow ochre. Today I'll be working on an 11 by 14 canvas standing upright. Other than this, I think we will also need some light pink or a magenta color. I believe I have neon pink or light pink that I'll be using. Oh, I'll use this one. We'll also need some burnt sienna. We'll also need some warm yellow, so grab your warm yellow right here and add that to your palette.
So first thing I want to do with my large brush, got a number 50 filter brush here, I want to wet my canvas with a little bit of water first. This will just help the canvas
I'm just going to take my 2-inch brush
a lot easier.
and just wet the canvas.
A little bit slippery.
Or wet your canvas paper. Remove the paper. Remove these over just so it's a little windy today, so I hope it just doesn't blow away on me. Would not be fun.
Okay, so I'm just going to take my blue violet and I'm going to start at the top.
Okay, so we're just going to take that blue violet, start in at the top.
And this is when you can decide if you want to have clouds in your sky, or just keep it a little bit patchy looking.
I'm going to take these off so I can move it down
Some areas are going to be a little bit lighter and darker.
and paint it without worrying about getting
With our paint,
the top of it
rose,
painted.
we're going to get a few different color variations that will look really, really pretty.
Mix some white in there.
As the pink overlapped with the blue, it's going to make a very pretty lilac-y violet color.
Just bring that down. Ignore if you get paint on it, like me. You can paint over that, no problem. Just gonna drag that all the way down. That's a great way with the water, just spread it out. Start out with water, never thought of that.
Now where I want to have a nice rose overlap with the blue to make it darker, I'm just going to come right in here and just kind of create these little soft scoops. And this will just kind of give that feeling.
Oh, I'm going to slow down her video as well. Still going at the normal speed. I need to make sure it's at 0.75 so I can follow along. And so she's doing these like sweeps. Okay, I'm going to hit my canvas at the very ends. She's doing these,
anywhere that you want.
that purple violet color. They're just little swoops anywhere.
Now our trees are going to cover up this area down here, but I want to have a bit of a darker base. And because we're using
So she wants a darker base. I'm going to dip my brush in white a little bit. Water.
a little bit of a soft peach color when I combine this with a bit of white later. That's complementary to the blue, so it's really nice to have a bit of this blue down here.
Just going to make sure you get the edges.
The yellow and the peach. We're just added a black. You can come in with. Okay, so as you can.
Okay, so now we need to dry our canvas. Yep, that feels dry already. That's great. You can tell it's dry when there's no paint on your glove when you rub it.
I would recommend adding white to it just to soften this a little.
She's just saying soften the tone, so add that pink with the white.
A little bit patchy looking, so there's different tones.
Make sure your brush is kind of damp.
And look, you can play around with it too at this stage.
Just so you can kind of mess around with it.
Scrub off and expose some of the blue still under there.
And I'm not sure what is going to happen with this, but I'm just going to go with the flow. Actually, you know what? I don't look at my...
That's really what I want to do.
Oh, it's just the sky.
Blue, a little bit of blue and white, a little bit of that pink.
Just make sure your brush is wet so the paint carries.
A little bit down here as well. And I've got quite a bit of this, so I'm going to use this. Most of this will get covered up, but there'll be like a little hint of this showing.
Maybe darker towards the center, rather than mixing it with white.
We have a little pond or lake down here in front of the lighthouse.
I'm just going to leave it like that, I think.
Reflect down in the water in between the darker shadow colors and the leaves that we're going to add.
A very loose color in there.
Okay, so we're going to work on the background trees first, and then add our lighthouse.
There'll be trees here, the lighthouse will be right here, and then there'll be another tree right here,
Build it up in order.
and then the land will be right here. So it's kind of like, I don't know if we're looking up at it or we are, but the lighthouse is in our face right here.
Make it the easiest you can for yourself by working background.
So I'm just cleaning off my brush right now,
The next
getting
stage
new water.
we're at right now are the bushes and trees that are changing color in the background. So for that, we don't need a lot of black, it's very strong. And
Oh, we need some black.
we're going to use a little bit of
I'm just mixing up my burnt sienna and my yellow ochre. Just taking her largest round brush, her filter.
And this lighthouse is really, really
Turn it up a little bit.
statement. It's powerful. It's our focal point and the ink out the perspective of bushes and trees. A little bit of burnt sienna.
Okay, so take some burnt sienna, and she's doing the landline right now. So, and it is like less than a quarter.
Here to here.
So her lighthouse
I
is
don't have to
about
go over that because then I'll have
less
to
than a
cover
third.
that
So like from here
so it's just a waste of ink.
to probably like
Just gonna start
here.
tapping in here, pushing tap. We can leave a little bit of that
Okay,
rose
we got some more black.
showing. And I'll just add a little bit.
I'm just gonna push
Like that.
some brush.
And then my brush.
The less you tap, the less blobby it'll look. So I might have tapped a little too hard here. I had too much paint on my brush.
Princeton brushes on the water. Will make paint with them.
Okay, then over
Okay,
here.
so I'm just gonna continue here. Just a little bit like this. And then we'll have a larger one
Just seeing a larger bush here.
up here, but it's gonna be more of the yellow ochre.
Yeah, with the yellow
Out of
ochre.
there, and then just do this really lightly.
She's saying do it really lightly.
Because we need a little bit of this darker
need
base
shadow.
first, but not much. A little bit of a darker base
We'll
here,
go over this mainly.
before we
It's very
come in
light taps.
with our yellow ochre.
Just a round little bush. And just side taps.
Because the darker base is going to make our, so you need both in order to work.
Just almost the whole thing.
Curved shadows in the water, and we've also got, as well as we're going to have
A little up
the
over here.
ochre yellowy leaves, few streaks down here,
Okay, so
just by simply pulling
these will dry and then you can paint over them. And then the
and
streaks.
leaving the rest that
Over
will be
here.
color. So I'll just pick a few areas here, and if we want more depth, we can go in and just lightly add a little bit of side. Okay, so just a little bit here and there.
Just side to side.
Fresh out.
Okay, so wash your brush.
This has, this one's a bit more. Start adding color.
Just washing my brush. Get some yellow ochre on your palette.
Okay, and then I'll add some of my luminous yellow.
Oh, she's having a luminous yellow. So her luminous yellow. So I think it's, she has bright yellow and yellow ochre.
I hope I show that enough to you guys in my videos. Depending on what brush you're using, when you're using a stipple brush, mop brush, oval brush
I don't know
like
which.
this, we're using this
Somebody has a stipple
for
brush.
a specific
neutral.
That's what you have to keep in mind.
Taking yellow ochre.
On the bottom, and I did not get it wet. If you put it in water first, it's going to get a little squishy. Going over.
No water. And then she's going to go over. Which I can't tell how high this is, which is kind of frustrating. I'm going to go back to the original photo. And it goes to about 2/3 high, so I am like a little bit off, so I need to go up here. That's how high this bush goes.
Thicker in some spots and then sparingly in others. So like
sparingly in others, thick in some.
Leave a space. Here's a little bit more space so that I can see the dark shadows. And then right like my brush. And I'll come in over here and start applying it. And just a light tapping.
And then some on the other side. Take that yellow ochre. Taking some of that warm yellow, and I'm gonna mix that in. It has like warm yellow on yellow ochre. It always looks so nice, just on the outsides. It really highlights it, really pretty. Which is this up here, and this one goes up to about 1/3 of the way of the canvas. So probably to like, there's a third, so probably a little higher. And that's like one, it looks like one looking bush. One bush.
Straight up and down tap. I'm kind of using the bottom and the tip. So they're really low.
Okay, and then I'm going to put my brush in water. I'm going to grab my 1-inch angular brush. Looks like this. I'm going to wet it.
Actually, a filbert brush would work really well for this. And I don't want to make this solid again, remember? Because
I'm going to grab some yellow ochre. Go under there. Go under there.
So try to just add enough of each color that you're still left with a little bit of all of them once you've added them all, if that makes sense. Now this is the first layer. We're going to add some highlights.
I need some more specks, so I'm going to wash out my brush.
Pretty. Okay, so
Put some yellow ochre and fill in just a little bit here.
a little bit of my white.
And put that in the water bucket. Okay, and then I think this is supposed to be water up here, so I am just doing the lines typical water makes. I know there's going to be a bush here, so and this, since this is all yellow, we're just going to do it all this way. Make sure you create a lot of yellow ochre, I think.
See how pretty these peachy yellow soft.
And this is just a... Okay, so
A
white.
little bit of my white.
So titanium white. She took some yellow ochre, mixed that together.
With this.
Grab some bright
A
yellow.
little bit of my neon luminous yellow.
Did some tapping down here.
See how pretty these peachy yellow soft colors go together with the blue and the purple.
I'm not sure if this is land or water. I'm still so confused.
Okay.
You're just taking that and you're tapping it. I might need to make some more.
Make sure to keep that
Push.
cookie shape.
Push. Drag. Drag. Alright, and then when you move on to the trees themselves, I suggest that you move back to your filbert
Want to
brush.
be a little bit more generous in color.
So I need
It will
some more
dry
yellow.
different. In fact, it's probably going to dry. It will dry darker than this, and I will be going back with some more highlights.
I am just gonna tap
Later on.
here.
This is just
Oh, I need some white.
this stage of the painting. Okay, so I'm going to add a few little
Okay, so I'm That's my stippling
for some
brush.
tree trunks and some branches.
And she highlights. Take some yellow ochre, some neon yellow,
But it will dry darker than
some
this,
white
and there
or
will
bright
be
yellow. You should get this like mixed color right here.
later on.
You can see that color. And then you're just
This
gonna
into the painting.
highlight some areas.
Okay, so I'm gonna add
Not all, just some.
lines for some tree trunks and some branches. I'm gonna be using a liner brush for this next step.
She has more yellow in here. Yeah, I see lots of like that neon yellow. I don't know. Okay, she's taking a liner brush, the number 1.
So what you want to do is get your liner brush wet, and I'm going to take some of my burnt sienna, and I just start making, so you can approach it this way with the handle pointing towards you, or
I'm going to take this liner brush only because it's the one that popped out at me.
with the handle pointing up.
And then I'm going to take some burnt sienna, that's that brown. I have not wet my brush, so I don't know if I'm supposed to. Sorry about the wind, guys. And then we're just going to add in, you can pull, or you can pull down, pull up, do whatever you want to do. I'm grabbing that darker burnt sienna color. It is so windy. I'm so sorry if that's all you can hear. Hopefully you can't hear much of it. So I'm just going to add some black into that burnt sienna so you pick it up. I'm going to add another one over here. Okay, this little bush here. And then another one over here. Goes up and over into this bush. She said sometimes less is more, which is very true. So you don't have to overdo it. Just little indications of something. If the paint's pulling off, don't worry. You can always go over it again when it dries, or you can try the other direction. Sometimes you can pull down when pulling up doesn't work. This will be covered by the lighthouse. So we're going to paint our treehouse, our lighthouse in white using a flat brush. I'm going to use my number 3/4 inch flat brush. I'm going to wet it and make sure that the tips kind of go together. So we're going to paint this in white. You can use your liquid. This white, see that? That's okay, I think. Hopefully it'll go together when you push them together. Actually, I might use my number 6 flat brush because my number 6 flat brush doesn't spread apart, so I'm going to wet that down. Pick up some white. It doesn't have to be exactly clean water, so don't worry about that. And then we are going to paint an upside down, or actually no, the triangle. Oh, it's going to start pouring. This should be interesting. So with this being our base, we want the lighthouse, we want this point of the lighthouse to be about, I think, halfway, 3/4 of the way up. So about to here. Semi like that. Sorry, I'm trying to speed this up because this rain is going to come and it's going to downpour. It is not going to be nice. And if you mess it up, just take some water, clean off your brush. You can scuttle off. Make sure you wipe it off on your brush. Any mistake that you made. And that's how you fix
the shadows and the lines with our filbert and possibly a liner brush.
It's gonna start thundering and lightning, guys, and I'm sorry, but I hope it's okay.
Just going
Okay, so
to continue.
she's taking her lining, her flat brush.
And notice as I'm doing this,
She's coming down like this,
I'm creating a bit of a curve.
and she's creating this like
Like that.
white spot up here. See a little dip that she's creating?
Back and forth and alternate. Turning your brush over because there's paint on both sides.
Oh, I can't reach it on that side. That's gonna have to
That
do.
will give it that
And you create a little dip,
circular
and I'll
look.
give it like a circular sort of look to it. These clouds look furious. So,
It's not really
alright, we
necessary.
need you to hurry up,
You
Joni.
could just paint the whole thing in white.
Or just paint everything in white. Oh,
Shadows and highlights later. But
sounds like
also
hail.
help
oh no.
to create
Please don't be a
that look.
tornado. I don't see any green skies.
Start to change this stuff a little bit in here.
It's
because
definitely
there are some
raining.
shadows that are going to be this color on the lighthouse. So from the trees and the bushes, so I'm going to just start wiggling in.
Just hope nothing flies away. And I'm going to take my larger liner brush at this point,
And then maybe if I do this,
which is 3/4 inch.
like those shadows are there, and I don't have to go
1
over
inch.
the colors if I were to paint it white first. But regardless, I'm going to be coming back in
I'm just painting
with
that
some more
white.
shadow colors to add a little bit
Oops.
of the shadows from leaves and shapes that kind of go up here towards one of the windows.
And you can tell that's my liquid white because it's very see-through. That's okay.
And it's going to take a few layers.
I'm gonna have to move this
nice and bright so
inside.
that we really feel the sun on it. This is the first layer, like I said.
Yes, first layer.
And now I'm going to just let that sit there.
Okay.
So I'm just going to stumble over this area a little bit.
And while we let that sit, we're gonna move this inside. So because it started raining outside, I had to take my painting inside. I hope you don't mind. I hope everything looks okay on your end. Oh, so she didn't even paint
There, I
in
don't have to go over in the same
this
colors
area.
if I were to paint it white first.
I'm actually gonna take some of that purple, light purple hue over here and fill that back in. She's using
And
that
it's
as
going
a
to take a few
shadow.
layers to get this nice and bright so that we really feel the sun on it. This is the first layer, like I said.
And do something like
And
that.
now I'm going to just let that sit there. Actually, I'm just going to scumble over this area a little bit here so I can cover up some of those. I'm going to start coming in with my filbert brush. This is a number 9. I'm just going to go right into my burnt sienna.
Alright, burnt sienna. She's taking your number 9 filbert brush. Going into burnt sienna.
Right here.
And she's gonna create like the balcony
Start pushing up
area.
and then letting off. So you're making a little arch like that.
Let's see. Okay, so filbert. Creating a little arch
And
with the
kind of
burnt
wrapping it
sienna.
around.
Gonna make my burnt sienna a little more
There's a bit of a shadow here on the side.
red and dark. And she's creating that
A little
little
bit of a shadow.
arc
The line right there.
this way, almost opposite direction. Coming down. Oh, and you know what? Hold on 1 second.
We'll do the same.
Okay, so
And
I'm creating
on the top of this one, we'll do the same thing, but it's going to be
some of that burnt
a
sienna.
little bit narrower.
And we're creating, oh, let's see if we can do this here.
And then I'm going to add
I'm gonna add one more right here.
window panes
Oops,
that are
I did it
in
too
this
wide.
shadow inside.
I'll fix that
because
after.
It's during the day,
And
and
then,
we're not going to see that big bright light, are we?
and then she goes up. Here's the square. I'm actually sitting low, so this is actually kind of
Push it
weird.
back a little bit in here.
At an angle I can't really
With my
see.
yellow ochre, a little bit of burnt sienna, just to start
One with the
adding
flat brush.
a bit of
Flat number.
foliage. Why
Flat
not?
number
We may as well.
6.
We can do that right now.
I want my flat number 6. I'm gonna wet my brush and pick up the paint. I'm gonna create a square up here. Straight down. I don't know what is going on right here. I can't really tell what she's doing. And she zoomed into a different area, so we're just going to leave that like that, and we can fix it up with the white afterwards if we need to. And then down here, when you put my gloves on, I'm going to be adding some foliage. See, she's got her round filbert brush, a large one, so I'm going to take my, well, let's see what she does first. You know, I'm going to take my size 8 filbert. I'm going to wet that. Tap the water. And then she's adding in yellow ochre, which I think I need to make some more of because all my paint is dry. So let's add some more paint to our palette. Okay, so then you're going to take your paintbrush. You're going to tap the tips of the ends in so it gets a little bit of paint on there. Not too much paint because when you tap, it'll smudge out. It'll look like a blob rather than little leaves, which is what we're going for. We're just going over the bottom like that, and then coming down here to create some brush. And then, let's see. She keeps zooming in. I hate when she zooms because it really throws me off. Okay, so she's adding yellow ochre and yellow warm together, mixing those together, and then she's just going to add brush over here.
In place and make it look like it's been standing there.
Just add some bush.
Add a little bit of white.
She's adding white to her brush, I think, to the bushes.
A little bit of white and a little bit of a tap.
Not sure why.
Side here.
But we'll see.
We'll take a little bit of that yellow and white again. And then right in here, just add a little bit, as well as on this side.
Okay, so now we're taking some of that yellow.
So it almost looks like a skinny triangle coming down right
I'm gonna
here.
turn the volume down.
I've got another yellow that I want to use. This one's a cool.
Okay, she keeps zooming in and out, which makes it difficult. So I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to add that yellow ochre color down the side over here, just to add a little sun. Over here, I can add some, and a little bit up here. Okay, and then over here too, we're going to add some, just a little bit. I'm not sure. She's just at the, hold on, I'm going to go back.
Highlights, just a little bit there. For the brightest highlights.
I don't know what she's doing. She's adding white and the bright yellow. Okay, so I'm going to take my small filbert brush, my smallest filbert. I'm going to take some white and bright yellow, so it creates like this nice lemony color, like a light lemon. And then she's just dabbing it, I guess.
Correct that from happening is to balance it out with a little bit of the warm. So just warming it up will help prevent that from happening. But see in here we have all these little shadows from the leaves and the trees.
I'm not really sure what she's doing or what's going on, so.
Cutting around that little skinny triangle. Got more
See, maybe I can get, okay, and then she comes down here. More white, more yellow. And just filling in the top area, I guess, like this. So we're taking more of that yellow and white mixture after we painted the top area, and I think we go below to over here. So I'm just going to tap it in, maybe. Not really sure what to do right now. I don't know what's up with this tapping stuff. Okay, so we're not there yet. We're still tapping in some paint. So grab some more white. Grab a little bit more yellow. And tap. Again, I'm not sure why this is tapped in and versus this not being tapped in. Okay, and then tap some over here. Over here. If any, okay, washed out. Oh, she's going in trying to give the brush a hazy look. I don't know if I need to or want to do that. I might decide at the end if I would like that look. So this is a 0 round I'm going to take just because it was available. Oh, and it looks like she did some white lines. Okay, so before she does anything, it looks like she had some yellow up here, and then she had some white that she added in. I didn't even know she added white. I don't know how I missed that. Looks like she added a whole lot of white. Mine's more yellow. So let's take our flat brush here. It's a 1/4 inch flat brush. Grab some white. I'm just mixing some titanium white into that yellowy mixture. I'm pulling that down because it looks more white than it does yellow on her, so I'll just pull down a little bit like that. And then it looks like she did a little area up here in white too, and over here, as well as up top over here in the center. Okay. Now let's see what she does. So she's doing some sienna, burnt sienna with black. So black and burnt sienna. It's gonna be a very dark brown color, almost black. The U is gonna be like a horseshoe shape, so it's gonna like come out, around, and back in. Come back like this.
You get a little bit there like that, and just take it off or go over it after with some light. And, well, I'm going to take just a little bit more of my sienna for this.
Come down a little bit more.
And remember, you want it to look like it's going around, so we're going to add this just on the outside.
Okay, and then there's this ring, which is the same horseshoe. So you want to keep it the same looking. So if it's upside down horseshoe versus or right side up horseshoe, keep it the same look. That consistency will make your painting more realistic. And you can always fix any mistake you create afterwards. Very simple. Okay, and then she's creating some windows up top, up on this top part. It's like little tube lines here. Oh, and now she's creating another round thing that's about the same width as these guys.
Round, down, and then straight down
Oh, it looks like an arch from here. It's
So we
creepy.
can add our
Oh, is this a railing?
railing. So let's go ahead and do that now. We can just
Okay, and then you go up,
pull the lines.
and
I
over,
find that if I do them
then down.
quickly, without hesitation, then they tend to look straighter. So just a little something like that. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow ochre with my burnt sienna now to make a lighter color.
Okay, yellow ochre, burnt sienna.
And I'm going to apply
This
this
be a lighter brown shade.
just slightly on top and above.
So that is going to go on the underside of this.
So see how I went above, over top, and left the underneath black, and I accidentally went over a little bit.
Oops, I did it completely the opposite way.
And put that black.
So we're going to pause this for a second. So that part I just painted should be black, not the burnt sienna and yellow ochre. So we can paint that again, but we're going to do this top portion, the burnt sienna and yellow ochre. And then on top of that, we're doing the railing in that same color, that burnt sienna, yellow ochre. And then we're going to do a bunch of lines going down. The harder you push, the fatter they'll get, so just keep that in mind. Sometimes you just can't help it, it just is what it is. But you can go back and fix that up, so don't worry about that. Simply take that yellow, not the yellow, that aquamarine, that blue, cobalt hue and white, sorry. And you can make those thinner, like that. And then we can fix the black underside very easily by putting black on the underside, or that burnt sienna with black. And that goes closest to the lighthouse. And the outside of that will be that yellow ochre and burnt umber, which will be a redder shade, but mine was just yellow. Hers looks like it has more red in it, so I'm just going to actually add more vermilion orange to it. Keep adding vermilion orange, so it's going to be vermilion orange. Okay. So I'm just mixing up some of my color now. Should get more reddish color, which will also tone down your shades. Mine are too yellow. So again, that'll be on the outside, so farthest from the lighthouse. Black will be the inside. That's a better shade. And then all these lines. Make sure your brush is nice and wet for the lines to flow. Not too wet though, or else you'll start dripping. Especially important when you're using thick body paints. Not as important unless your paints are drying too fast for the thin bodied paints. Those tend to flow nicer than thick bodied. Thick bodied are more like oily paints, oil paints. And I think I want to extend this guy up there a little bit, so I'm going to take my flat number 6 flat brush. Number 6, I'm going to take that burnt umber I'm simply just gonna go up. It looks like a tall, thin. Oops, I definitely went too far out, and that's okay. It's an easy fix. Wash your brush out, dry it off, take off the piece you don't want. Mine's dried a little too quickly, so that's okay. I'm just gonna clean out my water bucket and I'll be right back. Okay, so now this is how we're gonna fix that little part. So take your clean brush. We're gonna take that light blue hue and white and mix it together. Make sure there's more white than there's the blue hue. Very light color. We're just gonna plop it on there. Very easy. There you go. All set. And you wash your brush out. Okay, and then we can dry this down. Okay. Then wait for that to dry and see what she does next.
So what goes right here. So I'm just going to take this.
Take your take my number 2 flat brush.
And it goes kind of on an angle. It's kind of a funny shape. So we'll put a little
Red sienna and yellow ochre.
And it goes just off the lighthouse. Just off the edge like that.
Okay, just this little weird area. Hers is a lot more light here, so I'm gonna actually fix that first. So let's grab some yellow ochre, add some white to that. And then we're gonna do the shade here over the white. I don't know if we missed that part or what, but I definitely don't see that anywhere. But okay. Now we're going to take that burnt umber and yellow ochre and create this strange little window that just wants to peep out. Comes down at an angle and it goes in, doesn't go into the sky. So the corner's probably, she zoomed in so I can't tell where it is on the painting. I'm thinking 1/3 of the way. It's like here. It falls down into almost the sky, but doesn't go in the sky. And then it comes back inwards, or straight down actually. Just goes straight down. And then goes back at the same angle.
On an angle like that.
And then straight down. And then some window lines, just those little crosshairs.
A cool neon yellow with my white. And I'm going to go
Okay, cool neon yellow with white.
slightly above there. A little bit down on the edge. And then push gently.
Nice cool neon yellow with white.
And that little archery there.
So cool neon yellow is that bright
I'm
yellow
going to come in
and white.
and clean these edges up.
I could add a lot more white than yellow.
Blue. I'm just going to put it in there.
Okay.
So I'm going to add a little shadow in here.
And it goes
White, a little bit of my light.
around most of it.
And just add shadow down on this side here.
Oh, she's adding this blue shadow now.
Right behind that window casing
So taking that cobalt hue and white,
and right underneath. I'll bring it up a little bit higher.
and making that cobalt hue very light. And make sure you don't mix it into the green. So I'm going to bring it, let me see. It looks like she brought down to here and over here, and then a little farther over here, and at the end of this it kind of goes down, and kind of scumble it down this way. Okay. Oh, and it looks like it's scumbled up this way too.
A little bit of that blue there as well. And I'm going to also,
Scumbling it down.
I'm just pushing gently and dragging flat to make it look patchy. And this would be
And then up top,
the windows.
just drawing the windows, which is one
Just so it looks like they're shimmery.
flat one here.
And I'm going to carefully come in here inside the window and clean
That one.
this up.
Another one. Another one. Okay, so we got some windows. And then I'm going to lighten this area up a little bit.
I need to go in here.
So I'm going to take,
Just a little bit narrower. So I'm going to go over, right over part of the window and just take that white
oh, okay. I'm going over the part of the window.
and make it narrower.
I'm just making it a little
Something I might have to go back and
not really sure what she's trying to accomplish
adjust a
here.
little bit later.
But it does look
Start
like
working on this window here.
it's in an angle.
You could use a square brush for this. I'm just going to keep going with carefully with my round brush. So right out here, we'll just add a little square.
Okay, a little burnt sienna, yellow ochre.
Right on this slant. Actually, more for rectangle.
Okay, so now we're creating another window right here. So that's going to be probably halfway down. That's going to be the top. Oops. Jeepers, this is awful. Okay.
There we go.
I think I need to eat.
Then I'm going to go into my yellow ochre.
Sometimes you just need a break when you're painting. As much as I love it, sometimes it just is. Sometimes there's signals that you need some food.
Okay, and then we've got
So she's
a window that's a little bit darker up here. And it's a square.
window,
Eyeball it.
like a little yellow
We have a little square right here.
crosshairs.
A little square window.
And then another square window.
And come inside. Define
Up top.
contrasting shadows.
It's a rectangular window actually. Just like that. Just straight across.
And with a little bit of the burnt sienna and black left on the brush. Just add a little shadow here.
Burnt sienna and black. So adding a shadow somewhere. Maybe over here. Not really sure. Yeah, I don't really know.
Take with a clean brush, white and blue.
And here. Just gonna touch up a little bit.
And I'm going to start to scumble in here. Some shadows.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch brushes now, and I'm gonna go into my
And we've got those subtle, pretty
into
shadows.
my little trusted rounded brush. Okay, and I'm gonna grab some of that blue hue and some white, and just like scaling up the building.
Violet color down here, so I don't want to ruin that and go over too much.
I need to lighten this anyway, so I'm lightening it now. I wonder if we're creating like a stucco or staccato. Staccato. I don't even know if staccato's a word, but stucco finish. I think that's what we're trying to create here. So it has all sorts of shades and textures and colors, which makes sense. But only in certain lights would you really notice it. They're adding some more of the white and yellow. This brush works fantastic with doing this. I don't know if it's because of the brush saws that are long and kind of really go where you plan for them to. They really move where you want them to, and they really smooth over, like almost like I'm just trying to see if she doesn't want that blue. Almost like a spatula. I do a lot of great shading with this brush. A lot of great scumbling, or when you're taking your paint brush, it's almost like a spatula, or yeah, a spatula, going down. And just taking more yellow and white. The bright yellow and white. And she's getting bold, okay. And then right up in here, down this edge, and a little bit over. It's going. And you can't really mess this up because, like I said, I think we're creating a stucco-ish like finish. I should have been using this brush from the beginning. This brush is probably perfect for this type of painting. Oh, definitely visit Michael's. See if there are coupons. That'd be a prime place to get some good stuff. Yeah, this brush is perfect for doing this type of work. These circular areas. Really get some accurate framing or painting stuff. And under the window, which is okay. I'm just kind of wiggling the brush. I don't want to drag it because I feel like I'll lose that stucco look.
The top of that, and I'll do the same thing. I want to take a little bit.
So she's creating some shading with some yellow ochre over on this, on the upper side.
Some trees, some leaves in here. I can
And
just
up here
use
too.
the tip of this brush to scumble that around.
Okay.
But if you want to use your stipple mop brush or oval brush, that's fine too.
So this.
A little burnt, a little bit of white there.
Sienna.
I'm just going to start to dab here.
And some white in
Pick up
that.
a little bit more of that burnt sienna. There might be a little bit black in here too. And I'm just going to come in the side here and add some shadows.
Okay, so shadows. So I added white, so which means I need to really add some colors to this.
Right, I can always go back and add
And tone it down a little, because if I don't,
as well, wherever I want to.
then it's gonna look very faded.
Dabs of brown,
Just little taps.
burnt sienna that I'm adding here and there will help create some more shadow
I think just create it down
in
here.
this area.
Okay, and then on this grass area too. Maybe below everything.
Okay, so now I'm going to just go carefully underneath there with a little bit of burnt sienna and black and add a shadow there, so that'll stand out a little bit better now.
Okay, so take some burnt sienna, or just even just your burnt sienna black, yeah. Take your burnt sienna black. And then we can very simply, with our brush, create that shadow part that we need. You can get on the top of your brush, that is.
Just a little bit of this light color here and add this very carefully
Okay,
right above.
and then she does
Light color here and add this very carefully
yellow ochre right above that black, this line right here, yellow ochre. I need to wash my brush on to do that. So let's take some yellow ochre, add some water to our paint, because my paint's drying out too quickly. Not too much water though. Okay, and then we're going above this line, adding some yellow ochre. Probably won't show up that well, but that's okay. Oops. Okay, and then
we'll add 5. So close together, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
let me read this line real quick.
I'm going to go inside those and outline.
Okay, so she's added 5 lines with that burnt sienna. So she's added 5 lines up here, so not really sure how. So let's take our number 2 liner brush. So number 2 liner brush, or flat brush, detail brush. I'm getting some yellow ochre and, oops, burnt sienna actually, sorry, burnt sienna. And I am adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. So, see if this is a line, that's 1. This is 2, this would be 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we need another line. I wonder how she does that. Oh, she just adds 1 over here, okay. So 5. Accentuate that line there. Okay.
I'm going to go inside those and outline. I'm going to kind of scoop
Just taking some black.
and scallop slightly when I do that.
She's scooping and scalloping, so like on the inside, like a scoop,
That light blue.
creating a scallop,
And we can always go back and add more if we want as well,
like that.
just for those window panes, and I probably will be. So now we're going to work
And
on the
then
top.
she adds more black to the inside.
And I'm just going to do a diagonal line there, and it goes across, and 1 like that, so diagonal. You can even bring it up into a little point like this.
Okay, and then taking some of my burnt sienna and building this up.
We'll add a little
Oh,
highlight
it's a
inside here
triangle.
with the light
Interesting. Over to another triangle.
yellow. And then
Another triangle this way.
we'll add the top, and it's just a little triangle.
Another triangle on top.
I'm going to add a little bit of black and burnt sienna to outline it.
Black and burnt sienna, so black and that burnt
Just a
sienna
triangle
color.
line on the top like that.
Bring it up higher if you'd like.
I'm going to clean those window panes up a little bit.
My paint's almost becoming transparent at this point because I've used it, so they're drying out, and I just added paint extender to them, so it's basically just a paint extender with a little bit of pigment in it, which isn't always good, but
There's a little something inside of that one. Looks like it's missing something.
we need to add more black.
Although we have
Yeah, I just have a lot of media extender in my paint.
brush.
Okay. So we're gonna clean that out, and then we'll get back to it. Start taking some
Another up, over, and down.
burnt sienna.
Raising up.
I'm gonna take my 0 liner brush. I'm gonna make burnt sienna since I ran
This one
out.
is light. Kind of looks like it's
So I'm gonna mix my warm yellow with a little bit of
vermilion orange with some light yellow and then just a touch of black. Okay, and then she just goes over this shape again. I guess it's supposed to be up over. Not really sure. And then Holland. Scoops. These come down. This comes down. This comes down. And then I'm gonna do this guy again. And also fix it this little window over here. And add some light in there. And I'm gonna grab some white. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Take some white and fix up this window. It extends out this way. Both extended out that way. So something like that makes sense. And then I'm going to, oops, sorry again. Add some more warm yellow to this little area here. To create a glow, almost. And then onto the railing. Then up top, and this is just the warm yellow. And then I'm going to fill in this warm yellow. Then I'm going to take black, rinse out my brush, fix this window up here. Looks like a black window with yellow crosshairs. Maybe a little bit of the warm yellow around the top and the bottom and the sides. To brighten it up a little. And this is going to have some white going across it like this. And then underneath it, you're going to have that burnt umber.
pop it too.
It's yellow ochre now, doesn't it? Bright yellow and white. Now I used the lemon
Alright, so bright
yellow before. Now you can use
yellow and white.
either or. They both look nice.
Oh, this little alcove or whatever you call these little things that come out. Eve and grasses. I'm probably totally wrong in that word.
And then just go ahead and check and see if you want to add
And then,
any other highlights.
oh, and if you want any other highlights, now's the time to add them. So let's put here, there, here. Again there. And up here.
And I'm just going to finish here with my shadows in the water. I'm going to kind of push up here and just add a little bit more black. Add some more contrast in here.
So she's now taking more black and making water no areas. So what you can do is okay, so let's take our number 4 angular brush, and it's got a soft bristle top, not hard bristles. If you have hard bristles, do not use that. Try a filbert brush. I'm going to dip into the black paint. And then she's trying to create a lake-like effect over here. And then she's trying to create some shadows up over here too. I don't think I really need it, but sure. And then she wants to create some shadows up in here too.
Well, there'd be more of a shadow on this side, so let's just take a little bit back with the earth sienna and just carefully put down the actual back.
So black and burnt sienna.
This side here. A little bit more on there. Just want to make sure that these areas stand out as much as they should. Just bring that up a little bit more.
I'm going to grab my detail number 2 brush, my flat number 2. Get that wet. And pick up some black and burnt sienna. And make this circle stand out more.
Well, all these little details like this, these are finishing touches, they really make a difference in your paintings. Okay, for the next tree, I'm going to be using a little fan brush. I'm going to paint my tree trunk first. Skinny little tree trunk, back to my liner brush. A little bit of that burnt sienna. Don't want this very dark at all. And I'll do that one. Little tree, right about here. Even that's a little bit too dark. And let's just soften that with a little bit of yellow ochre.
Okay, now we're going to put a tree in front of the lighthouse, right about here.
Oh my gosh,
I'm going to take some burnt umber
here, I think.
and some yellow ochre.
Maybe some little branches along here as well.
Make a mid-tone brown shade and then come
Just a little bit
this
of that color in
way,
there.
just a little bit.
It's good. Well, I've got this on
Just make like a tree here.
inside this window and add a bit of yellow ochre.
Okay.
Okay, so now I can use my little fan brush
Oops.
and start with yellow ochre. I'm going to use a little bit of burnt sienna as well. Just a little bit right there. See how it looks like a rake? I'm going to use these little spaces that I want. Sometimes I come in and I just use the corner of the edge like this. And just have
Okay, so grab one of your fan brushes. And that's what she's doing, is trying to create. Grab one that spreads out like that when it's
little
wet.
trees like this, right? That
And
give
she's just
you
taking some
little
brown.
shadows casting
She's just creating some leaves.
around the lighthouse.
Very light touch. Just dab. In a circle, almost, I guess. And then she's adding
And I'll add my highlight, just a little bit here.
some texture
Yeah,
around the lighthouse.
some neon yellow warm, yellow ochre, and a little bit of white.
I'm actually going to take my stipple brush and fix that. I don't like the way that looks. I use my small stippling brush. Got some color. Stipple that on in there.
Now to finish this painting, I'm going to take another filbert brush, a small one, and I'm just going to clean up these areas here. Back to my light yellows.
And then she has some leaves down here. Or not leaves, some grass.
So it kind of looks like this is raised and then the water's below it.
Okay, so then she creates some grass from the water. I want to make sure I don't pick up that black. Grab that yellow ochre. Put that back in. What is she doing over there? She's moving something.
And I'll add my last bit of highlights here before I call this one done.
Then she's just adding some. I don't know what she's doing. I'm going to. She added more cobalt hue and white. So I'm going to add some of my cobalt hue
Add a little bit of
white to make that violet
which I think I want to have just a
blue
little
color.
bit of blue and white.
And take my number
They're really creating
8 filbert.
by creating these sweeping scoops in a circular motion with your brush.
And then I'm just taking a little bit of the cobalt hue with titanium white, mixing it to get this nice baby blue color. And I noticed that she had some sweeps of this down here. A little bit more cobalt hue in that blue and that white. And then over here she had some, right over here she had some, make sure your brush is semi-wet because we're painting wet on wet. Make sure that paint wants to go over that paint. Okay. I think that's good. Actually, maybe I'm going to add more. I'm not happy with that. So I'm just going to add some here. Okay. And then so your brush, you can put that away.
When I don't bump into my brush, maybe the third one or fourth. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this one. Fall is just around the corner. I can feel it in the air.
Okay, so then she's done. I think I am almost done with this one. She just added some more baby blue, or even some like, it's more like a haze to bring that out, but she uses bright blue, like a brighter blue color, so I'm going to use bright blue. What I'm going to do is take my size 8 velvet brush, this brush, get it wet. I'm going to take some of that blue and drag it out on my palette. Get it nice and wet. So it's almost like a dripping pile like this. Oh, it would drip actually if you did do that, if you moved it around. Okay, I'm going to dry off the excess on my brush and almost paint like this haze of this blue shade in the sky around around the lighthouse. I was going to say the tree. Just add a dab of it to some water, like a droplet of water. Just adding some blue. That's all. I think we're done. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this YouTube tutorial. And this is Joni Young's YouTube tutorial on how to paint a lighthouse. And this was super easy, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I would give it about a 5 out of 10. It wasn't that difficult as long as you know some of the standard motions or whatnot, and the colors that she's using. If you understand that, then you should be pretty well off. If you followed along, have any tips or tricks or comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.